What was Donald Trump doing? He touched his ear, he brings it down, he closes something up, seemingly, puts it on the podium, and then goes down. Why wouldn't you just grab your ear and go down? Why would you grab your ear out and then seemingly take something, or just say his empty hand for skeptics, crunch it, and put his hand back down on the podium before he goes down? I posted the slow-mo video, and my hope is that you will watch it. Now, we're going to go into the whys. Join me for a little ride. What a wild world and time we live in. And Wake Movement has been on top of quote-unquote conspiracy theories, psychological operations, religion in simpatico with politics, state government, history, the whole symbolism, the world of the occult, mystery schools, and it all comes prophecy used as a way to manipulate the masses. Let's go. We're going to go into the whys. I'm going to do a sit-down video where I'll go through the symbolism. But here's going to be a meditation of reflection on why might this have been brought to forth. Trump was already seemingly gonna win, especially after the debate with Biden, which in itself, them putting up this person against Trump, I mean, he's already there for 4 years, but that says something. Why, if they're pretty much already gonna win, would they pull a stunt such as staging an attempt on Trump's life? Perhaps they couldn't just be pretty sure. They had to be 100% sure, because they're trying to prop Trump up into this Antichrist / Messiah figure to play out the script of their scriptures. Ultimately, for what? An ushering in of a new world order from the top of the mount, the top of the pyramid in Yisrael. But they haven't tried to pin it on anybody yet, because that's going to say a lot about the motives of who they choose to be, or who was. I'm still sussing this all out. I'm taking the side I was on the side that there was gunshots. Somebody got killed, right? Anyway, this is all trusting what the news tells us. And then the FBI, CIA, whatever, 3-letter agency, Secret Service, 2-letter agency, is with. Could they organize such a mass thing and get away with it? Those of us who don't believe in the official narrative of the JFK assassination, and how many years have passed since we got a clear answer on that? Not to mention Shmaim 11 and other things that we can't even talk about. The things that we can't talk about should be the things that should really throw up red flags. Is there a special whatever that we can't talk about? That should be a sign as to who's ruling over you. I don't even think you're probably allowed to say the king's name. Or, I know you can't make eye contact when they come through town. You know what, I bet you back in the day with kings and popes, a pope, a religious king really, they would, the actual person who holds the spot that is absent from the scene, from like not even alive. Because back then you could hide stuff so much more. But now with cameras on phones as prevalent as they are, with the internet, during 9/11 we didn't really have the internet. Surprised we have any videos of the actual thing happening. That's just by pure divine providence, hopefully. But you can't even question that event. Just now, they released some documents asserting that Saudi Arabia might have had a bigger part in it. Of course. How come that didn't come out for the past more than 20 years? 30 almost. Jeez. Why would such a thing? If my phone cuts out, and excuse the noise, but this is important stuff, and I've been on top of it. There's other people who I could recommend that are on top of it. No More News with Adam Green, Albert Bashai on X Spaces. The two people I've had on the show before. It's taken such people like Ryan Dawson, like Nick Fuentes, and when they were not on Trump's side, now they are. Elon Musk fully coming out and supporting Trump. And then they're going to make him dark MAGA, to radicalize the right. What they want ultimately is a civil war, the collapse of America, which again is in the scripture. Babylon, the new Babylon, Edom, the new Rome, Esau has to fall so that Jacob, Israel can rise. Both can't be on top at the same time. It's also likened to sacrificing one goat and letting the other goat live. Hence where we get the very term scapegoat from. Oh, brother. What are we gonna do? We're gonna try to be awake to what is going on in conscious and not get duped and fooled. And that takes by questioning everything. That's why the whole flat earth thing, which I think is a total psyop, we have to be knowledgeable about psychological operations so that they could lump those who question 9/11 in with those who question whether the world is flat or round. Or that's something to be conscious about. Turning Trump into, well, he fulfills having a head wound. Revelations 13:3 was done on the very 13th of July. Was done after one of the Notre Dame cathedral spires was lit on fire. And I did a video on that on 7-Eleven on my other channel, talking about the astrology being Mars-Uranus conjunct and talking about like a near-death experience. Talking about near-death experience possible as something that could happen. This is kind of a dangerous time. It's very electric, Uranus. It involves the masses, Uranus. Uranus is the modern day ruler of Aquarius. In Aquarius, at the very first degree, we have Pluto, who's in charge of the plutocracy, a small amount of people with a large amount of power. The ability to manipulate mass events. Pluto, the modern day ruler of Scorpio, Scorpio, who is the master manipulator, in a sense the betrayer. Scorpio, who hands the Son of God over to be pierced as Jesus was pierced in the side, which happens from the centurion, the centaur of Sagittarius, with his arrow. Astrotheology is what lots of the scriptures are based on. And it makes sense. It's also called sympathetic magic. To match what you want to bring about into the laws of nature. The laws of nature are shown by the changing of the seasons. Namely, life and death, rebirth, and birth, and death, and birth. Now, why? To bring us into, to affect our emotions, to do a traumatization ritual, which is all about inflicting emotional trauma, and then the mental is tied in with that to control the mental. We got two people watching, yeah. And where do they want to control us into? A Gog and Magog war. The East versus the West, the North versus the South, Christians versus the Muslims, the people of the book versus the pagans, idol worshippers. And who wins that story? The people who wrote the book. What one thing do Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Masonry, Satanism, all have in common? It comes from a Jewish book. With Jewish characters, and the first part of the book, 80% of it was written for them. And the other 20% that got added on was written by them for not them, for others. If you're going to create a religion for another who is not part of your tribe, are you going to make it beneficial for them? Advantageous? No. And when you have less in number and strength and physical power, you have to use subversive means, such as theological conquering, the conquering of the minds, to get people to fight against themselves, Protestant and Christian, Catholic. Muslim and Christian, where you can't use race or politics even so much, or nations. You can use religion, which transcends those. If one people thinks of their people as a race, and there is strength in having that racial identity, it's played out in as a cohesive element, you're not going to want your enemy to have a racial identity, to even exist at all. You could do that by flooding in immigration and propagandizing the mixing of that race. And it's horrible. I am not a racist. I'm just saying this is the idea that's in actions that come from a racial supremic mentality. Having a sense of racial identity and pride even is allowed and accepted by some but not others. An outright attack on the number one enemy of the Bible, who is Esau, the ruddy one, the firstborn, who plows the field, and whom Jacob, through trickery, gets Esau to sell his birthright. That, my friends, is the why in the story. And the how they're doing it. So what? Now what are solutions? Now that we've got some better grasp on the what and the why. How do we go about changing this? Through education, sharing things with others, challenging preconceived notions, prejudices. It is the European white peoples who are the number one enemy of the people of the book. the Bible, the Torah. This is further laid out for us in the Talmud, commentary on the Torah. And then we have these group of people, Christian identity people, or Manichaeans, even there's a new wave of that, or Black Hebrew Israelites, who want to say, no, we're the people of the Bible that God commanded to go in and smash all the babies' heads and take out their livestock. Why would anybody want to associate themselves with that? First of all, it's totally fictitious, not historical. Now with the advent of the internet and our ability to gather information on a scale never had before, and then disperse it, share it, we take that gift, that tool, to religion, a historically critical worldview. A more accurate one will come about when we use that methodology. That's not to strip away the spiritual, the metaphysical, but to bring us closer to truth. And engage in the world, the here and now. Not giving up on this one for one to come. And also caring about the future, the world to come, and our part in it. And I tell you, if you go by the scriptures, our part in it is slaves. $1,280 total, I believe. That divided by 4 on each tassel of the tzitzit, of the prayer shawl. That's our lot in the world to come. We don't have a portion of it. The only ones who do have a portion in the world to come are those who have been good Noahides, who practice the 7 Noahide laws, which are to first and above all worship one God, the God of the Bible, the God that the people of the Bible made up to rule over us. And if you don't worship that God and his chosen people and the sages and the word given